Yesterday after the 2-0, the goal of Nico Pazas stays silent for 22 consecutive minutes. Not a single word. It's a record on the channel, but don't get me wrong. I have a lot of things to say about the non-performance of yesterday, about that shameful performance of yesterday afternoon, a totally ruined Sunday. And the worst thing of all, it's not the first time that we are watching a movie like that. And that starts to be extremely alarming. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you are doing well, better than yesterday. And I'm sure that the people that went back to work, people that went back to school, well, they were happy. Better to go at school or to work, to just totally forget a totally ruined Sunday, because yesterday was ruined. Well, in today's video, I want to go towards the thoughts and the opinion about the game of yesterday, but also our moment that we go towards tactics or especially behavior. I have a lot of things to say. I want to speak about the tops, the flops, and especially if Igor Tudor will watch this video, which I think he will not. But if yes, Igor, I have an advice for you. I have a message for you that could be totally wrong. Huh? I'm absolutely not the one that is correct in everything that he's thinking or saying, but I have an advice. So please listen to me and then do whatever you want with it. And then unfortunately, at the 20th of October 2025, we are obliged to speak about what the media is putting on their first page. On the front page is a list of candidates, because Tudor, according to them, is already today risking big. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the channel, because we go with my prediction. I predicted a 2-0 loss against Como, and yesterday that's what happened. Exactly that. The loss, the 2 goals of Como, and no reaction of Juve. And you know how I felt it, how I knew it. Because of that last minute against Milan that I brought up a lot of time here on the channel. Because that last minute against Milan was the alarm bell. It was already a sign of what could happen and what happened yesterday against Como. That last minute of Milan without leadership, without having the courage. A courage that was the thing that we were praising, or at least I was praising to Tudor, that he was able to put into our players. Not that the other teams were fearing you, but at least we were not scared anymore. At risk of risking everything, at risk of losing. The reaction against Inter, a game that I didn't like, but the reaction against Inter, the reaction coming back from a 4-2 loss against Dortmund. We saw other games like the Villarreal, that was not a beautiful performance, but coming back from a 1-0 loss before that last minute goal of Renato Vega, but this is gone, and it's gone from that Juve Milan where the ball is going from one to the other, the referee with a whistle in the mouth. We know that we are risking actually 0, not even a counter-attack, and we don't try because no leadership there on the field. And unfortunately, what we saw yesterday, and I have a word to describe Tudor of yesterday, we saw it there. Stoic, but that's not the word. I have even worse as a word. That was already the alarm sign of yesterday. If you are looking at the momentum of yesterday, ragazzi, it's a problem. It's really a problem. But before momentum, let's speak about the formation. The formation, a lot of us, including myself, were inviting Tudor and the team to go towards a 4-man defense, 4-3-3, 4-3-2-1, 4-3-1-2, whatever. 4-man defense. Yesterday, we can say that the formation that we saw is not the solution. Yes, the formation is a problem, but it's not the solution in changing. As long as you are not convinced about what you are doing, as long as the players don't believe in what they are doing, you will not make a new formation working. That you play with 1 man in defense, with 10 men in defense, it will not work, whatever you are doing, because you don't believe in it. And yesterday we saw it. Not only because we didn't have a lot of time to prepare it, to test it, but yesterday we said, you know what, let's try, because Bremer is not there, because it's the only way, but we tried it, but a 4-3-3 or whatever what we watched yesterday, because it was a 4-3-3 in some moments. Actually, if you're looking at the heat maps, it became a 4-1-5, 4-1-5 is what we saw, with Jonathan David even lower than our 2 wingers that were not high on the field at all, with Thuram and Koopmeiners that we didn't really understand. That's what we saw yesterday. But anyway, this cannot work. It cannot work if you are not convinced. And how do I know that it's not working? Because the 4-3-3 on paper was there, but the principle of a 4-3-3 were nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. We were playing a lot of time with the same principle as that 3-4-1 that we saw since the beginning of the season, and that's really a big problem. Speaking about The formation is one thing, but it's even worse. It's the behavior. And you can play with a 3-5-2 that people are hating. You can play with whatever formation. If you don't have the right behavior, whatever formation, the best one or not, you can play with diamond, you can play with jewels, you can play with gold. It will not work if you are not convinced, if you don't believe. And this is what happened yesterday. We don't believe how we enter on the field yesterday. We enter at a 12:30 p.m. game. We are sleepy. The problem is that Como, they were already woke up since days. They didn't sleep. They were ready to play that game. We were not. And at that 4th minute, if you give 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds to Nico Paz to just cross with the qualities, the technique that he has in his foot, we have a problem. Then on top of that, if we don't know that there is someone that is coming out of nowhere because we don't watch, because we don't see, because our eyes are not open yet, we have a problem. The behavior after that goal. There is one single player that reacted. 1 on 11 that reacted. The other players, they were looking at the ground. At the 15 minutes, we see a zoom of the faces of the players. I said it yesterday live. The players were looking at the ground. They were ashamed to look into the camera. They were ashamed to put their head up. They had no reaction in them. I knew at that moment of the faces of the players that it was over, the game of yesterday. Tudor knew. But Tudor couldn't show, asking them to react. He couldn't react himself. We had a real huge problem yesterday in terms of behavior. Look at that momentum, that first part. Even when you concede, you don't react. The worst thing is that second half, you don't have that reaction. For 15, 20 minutes, nothing is happening. Ragazzi, yesterday, you know what Como did? They scored a goal and they said, oof, now they will kill us. Now Juve will go, they will dominate, they will go with all their men, they will go, they will score. Yesterday, you know when the second attempt of Como arrived? At the 28th minute. So from that 4th minute, 24 minutes long, there is no attempt of Como. We tried, but it was not working, because another problem of this Juve is that up front you have even great players, but they don't find themselves. They couldn't work on it during the international break, but they couldn't find themselves. Look at the percentages. 36% of passes succeeded in final third from Kenan Yildiz. 50% from Chico Conceição, 67% from Jonathan David. It's not that these are bad players. They are not bad players at all. Oh, Kenan is a world star. The world is speaking about him. Chico is a good player, even if he had to put the right shoes on, which yesterday he didn't have. Jonathan David is a good player, but they can't work together at today because they don't know. They speak a different language. One is speaking Portuguese, the other one is speaking Turkish, the other one is speaking Canadian, French, I don't know what language, but they are not speaking to each other in the same language. The language of football, il calcio, not yet, and that's a really big problem. Because then you can go with 10 strikers. You can have on paper the best strikers of the world. If they don't communicate with each other, it's a huge big problem. Because Juventus, in that first half, 0 shots on target. We were not dangerous. And you know what? From that 28 minute on, Como, they said, if they cannot kill the game, if they are there, they don't know what to do in the final third. Oh, we go, huh? Oh, we go. In total, in that first half, 3 shots on target on 6 attempts, which means from the 28th minute on, 5 attempts from Como. Juve couldn't. The subs, you will tell me, the subs were late. Of course they were late, but it's not even the subs that are late or not that are a problem. It's a recurrent problem that we already spoke about here on the channel, that we told you step by step. It happened again yesterday. A moment of confusion in the next minute after a sub. Yesterday, 77th minute, 2 players are entering. McKennie Vlahovic, the same problem is happening. You lose a structure, an organization, you go in total tilt, and we concede at the 79th minute. It cannot be a casualty anymore. It cannot be a coincidence anymore, because it happened a lot of times against Dortmund, against other games, where for a few minutes we don't know what to do. Is it a problem? I'm not in La Continassa. Is it a problem of La Continassa that we don't prepare the eventualities of a game, that you are losing 1-0 and you are changing McKennie for Locatelli? What do you need to do? The other players, how do they need to behave? If you are winning 1-0, what to do? If this player is entering, if we are playing with more strikers, what to do? If in that moment of confusion we are able to resist and we don't concede because the other team is not creating, we could possibly lucky to go and with individualities to do something. Otherwise, usually when we change, we have a total moment of confusion and we concede a goal, which is a problem. Look, yesterday Locatelli says, I'm super angry because we miss the details, and the details in games like that are making the difference. We cannot allow ourselves to lose games like that. I agree with him, but I will even extend it. It's not only the details that you missed. It's much more than the details. It's everything that we missed yesterday, and not only. Now, what I was telling you is this movie, we saw it since way too long. It's not the first time that it happened. You can go with coaches, Allegri 2.0 in certain games, Thiago Motta in certain games, Tudor now. Guys, we see this movie a lot of time not entering the right way, with the right mentality, with that right behavior. And that's why I'm extremely pissed off with Tudor, because Tudor, you like him or you don't like him, he's a world coach or not world coach, he's a capable coach. He's someone that already showed what he can do. Now, the problem is that he's not showing it at Juve, and he must show it. At today, he doesn't show it. This is not Tudor. This is not Tudor. And after yelling yesterday for that yellow card of Kelly, again, I'm not even speaking about referees. I don't want to speak about referees. But after that yellow card to Kelly, where you really see that he's going totally nuts and crazy, he disappears. He should be the last one to disappear. You remember what I said in that Juve Manchester City? That at a certain moment I see Igor Tudor going and sitting on the bench. And no, Tudor. So my advice for Igor Tudor is, Tudor, you know that this is a unique opportunity. You know that this is your chance to coach Juve. That was your dream. That was your main objective in life. Training, coaching Juve, winning with Juve. It's one, When it's gone, it's gone. That you are that you resign or that you will be sacked, whatever, at the end of the cycle of Tudor. That it could be tomorrow or that it could be in 10 years from the moment that it's over. It will be over. I'm not thinking that there will be a 2.0. A 2.0 happens after an incredible, exceptional winning cycle. And usually the 2.0 are not even working. So pay attention. 2.0 doesn't happen. So it's now or never, Tudor. So be yourself. No compromises. Absolutely not. Be Igor Tudor. If you don't believe that 4-3-3 is ready to work, don't do it. If you believe that this player needs to play him. If you don't believe that this player has to play, don't play him. But be Tudor. On the field and off the field. I don't want a Tudor that is dribbling answers, because this is not the Tudor that I know. This is not the Tudor that I knew on the field when he was a player. This is not the Tudor that I knew as a coach in other clubs. Be Igor Tudor. All in. Good or bad. That we are back to victory and we see a change. Or that we don't see and we totally collapse. But go for it. Because continuing what we are doing today, half of this, half of that, this, it will absolutely not work. Absolutely not work. The tops, the flops. Flops. To me, I will not go with long explanation. Chico, that was even one of the best ones in that first half until he had minutes in the legs. It was irritating. Irritating with, or he was slipping, one, or he was taking the bad decision. Irritating. Cambiaso, arrogant. Bath of humility is needed. Fast, really fast. And his agent needs to learn that he's also one of the major causes of Cambiaso's non-performances. Because if you link, after the year of non-performance of Cambiaso, a name like Paolo Mandili, we have a problem. We have a huge, big problem. A bath of humility is urgently needed for Andrea Cambiaso. Tudor, yesterday, a word to describe him, apathetic. Apathetic. And this is absolutely not Tudor that I want. These are for me the three flops. Even if I could go with 15 flops yesterday. Not only about players, but about everything. The top, Cope manners. Pay attention, That's a problem. If the Cope manners performance of yesterday is the top of what we watched yesterday, we have a huge, big problem. Kelly is the second one that I want to put there in the one that I want to save. He's the only player that after conceding that one goal in the 4th minute was pissed off, was trying to react, was pissed off. Some reaction from him, some anticipation from closings. Then he made a mistake. We collapsed. He collapsed like the entire team. But he was probably the last one to give up. Then, Tudor is risking on all the Italian pages. We see it on Gazzetta dello Sport with Tudor è sul filo. He's on the line. We see it on Corriere dello Sport. Frizione tra i tecnici, problems between Fabregas and Tudor, but he is risking as well. And then we see it on Tutto Sport. Now Tudor is seriously risking. What are the names that we are reading on the papers? And I will tell you why yes, why not. Spalletti is one name. That could be a possibility. I tell you, and I repeat it many times, so I don't want to stay too long on the name of Spalletti. Maybe I should do a dedicated video about all the coaches. But Spalletti could be, in this moment, the worst possible solution. Mancini. For me, it's a big no. The last club that he coached was the last big club that he coached was Manchester City. Why always me? Era. Xavi that has absolutely no idea about Serie A. Xavi that is a bet. It's a huge big bet. A Xavi that you need to go for a medium long-term project. Do we have the time? Do we have the ability? Be honest and sincere. Do you have that strength to say we start with Xavi and we give him the time that he needs, the time to do mistakes, the time to totally collapse before rising? Asking to you. And then there is the name of Zidane. It's not Beppe that is putting across, it's Zidane himself. So I don't want to hear, bring Zidane here on the bench of Juve anymore. I don't want to hear it. Guys, open your ears, open your eyes. Zidane doesn't want to coach Juve because he knows what he will do. After the World Cup, he will go to France. Something that I'm repeating since 3 years, and he confirmed it himself. So there is a name that is still standing, the name of Palladino. Let aside that I want Tudor, like every coach that is sitting on the bench, to be as long as possible there, because that means that we are doing well. That means that we went out of the deep water and that we are starting to perform, that we are starting to win. That being said, if the papers are saying he is risking, who am I? I don't know. Then Palladino is a name that I could potentially see for a few reasons. The first reason is because Nicolo Schira is writing Palladino is a possible candidate for Juve. If Juve decides to sack Igor in the next few weeks, Palladino is ready to accept a short-term contract until June plus option. And he is in a very good relationship with the technical director Modesto since they were at Monza. So taking that information, why would I say yes? The first reason is because he would be ready to accept a short-term contract until June. So in terms of finances, you are not doing something crazy. One, super important. Secondly, because if you already have ideas in mind about who you want as a next coach, at least you will have the opportunity to choose, not because you have now an obligation to react and the pool of candidates is extremely short, but you will have much more possibilities to go towards the one that you really want. So short-term contract, that's why I would, first of all, take Palladino if Tudor is sacked, one. Secondly, because he's a one that already showed that he can play with different way of playing. 4-2-3-1 that he played at Fiorentina in the beginning, before switching towards the end, towards a 3-5-2, something that he was already doing at Monza. So he can play with 3-man defense, he can play with 4-man defense. He knows Juve, even if it means nothing today. It means nothing. Even Tudor knows Juve. And then he knows Modesto. And here I give you a backstage story. The message of Nico Schira is coming from where? It's coming from sources that he has, and probably that source is called Beppe Rizzo. That is the agent of Palladino, the one that tried to push him to go to Atalanta, to a bigger bench than Monza, than Fiorentina. Going to Atalanta, at the end it collapsed, he didn't go through. They went for Juric. But Beppe Rizzo knows really well also Modesto. Modesto and Palladino were together, they know. It's not Modesto that will choose the coach, guys? Calma. It's not him. But it's true that if Modesto needs to speak well about someone, he will speak well about Palladino. He will speak well. There is that link, Beppe Rizzo, Palladino, Beppe Rizzo, Modesto. And Nico Stira, I heard it somewhere. Now, I don't know the source of Nico Stira, but I can tell you that big chances are that it's the agent that is actually pushing Palladino in the foreground. Did Juve start talks with other coaches? At the moment, from what I know, no. At the moment, from what I know, no. Then, Real Madrid is this week. Lazio is this week. Will they start negotiation or thinking something else after this game? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, the video is way too long. Hey, I think that I compensate the 22 minutes that I didn't speak yesterday. I hope you enjoyed at least the video. Tell me what you think I was correct on, what I was wrong on, because I will try to read your messages. Grazie, forza, Juve.